Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I know it's been a while since I made a video, but let's try to fix that. But like the title says, this video is about something I hadn't really thought of. I guess I did think about it when I first jumped into the original and prequel trilogy. What order should you watch the Star Wars movies in? And I think this obviously pertains to just the first six, because there's no reason to watch 7, 8, 9 in the middle or at the beginning. So this is mainly only for the first six. Should you watch 1 through 6, or should you watch it 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, which is the order that they came out in? And there's also a third way I've heard of called the machete, the machete way, the machete viewing, which is you take 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, or some people say to skip one. I wouldn't skip one. I think it's important enough. They say one doesn't matter. I think it does. I think it does add a needed layer to Anakin's story. So I'd say don't skip one. So it'd be 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and 6. So and the main reason for that, obviously, is to still get the surprise of Luke, of Darth Vader being Luke's father, and then after that, you skip to the prequels, you learn Anakin's story, and then you go into 6 with added suspension of will Luke turn like his dad did, and then obviously Luke is wearing black that whole movie, which coincides with Anakin wearing black in Sith the whole movie. So it kind of creates that parallel, and it makes you wonder if he'll turn. Does Anakin turn because of family? Will Luke turn because of family? So there's that aspect, which some people say might be the best way to watch them. I think for me, I think the best way to watch it is 1 through 6, because I think, while the originals was Luke's story, I think the prequels transformed the whole series into being Anakin's story. From 1 through 6 is Anakin's like rise and fall and rise again, or however you want to word it. Because from 1, you see him as a little boy, want to be a Jedi. Then you watch him slowly descend into madness and become Darth Vader. And then by A New Hope, he's full on like this ruthless. Well, he wasn't that ruthless in A New Hope, but I would say more 5 and 6. He's more ruthless, and you see him return in 6 and save his son. And even in 5, there's that scene at the very end after he tells Luke that he's his father, where Vader, which is like after the battle, like the fight on Cloud City, and Vader he's looking out the window of his ship, and he's just staring out, and it's like you can kind of tell that like that's the beginning of Anakin coming back, because he's starting to be like, well, do I want my son, or do I want the power more? And he starts to walk away, then he stops for like a second and looks back, and I think like stuff like that is what makes you say it's more. The prequels made it Anakin's story, the entire series, up until 6. And so starting from 1, you get like to experience Anakin's full story, whereas you experience that as a flashback if you start from 4, 5, 6. I think the only real benefit to watching 4, 5, and 6 first is that or even just doing the machete way and watching 4 and 5 first, is that you just get the surprise of the Luke, I am your father. That's the only benefit I feel that you get from watching that. Is like, and I feel like the benefits of watching 6, starting from 1, way far outweigh the benefits. Like it's the only benefit, to me at least, of starting from four, is that you get that surprise, and you get the surprise in the next movie about Leia being his twin. Like that's the only real thing that's a benefit for starting with the originals. Whereas if when you start from one, like I said, you get Anakin's full arc. You get to like experience his full story, because the story is basically his legacy from 1 to 6, and because he is the chosen one, so you see his rise and fall, and you see his son bring him back, and you get to wonder, is his son gonna turn just like he did? So you get that parallel, and while if you do watch 1 to 3 first, well, yeah, you already know that Luke is it's the same name. I was gonna say that doesn't make sense, but you also get Obi-Wan's death means more, and it feels more, having already watched him in his younger days in the first 3 movies, and the role he played in being Anakin's friend, and then you see Anakin kill him in episode 4. I feel like it means more. It means, because in A New Hope, you only you follow him for a movie. He's just this weird old guy, pretty much, and then he dies weirdly at the end of the movie, because he just kind of just gives up and lets Darth Vader kill him, and you don't get the full context of their history. Like that he was, well, I think it might say in A New Hope that he trained him, but you know a lot more of the context behind certain things when you start from the first one. Whether as starting from 4 and watching the prequels afterward, you're like picking up on stuff that, even though some things weren't decided when the originals were being made, so not everything is gonna have like a context, but you might feel the context or feel certain things, or like such as when Darth Vader finds out that Luke is his son, because he didn't know. He thought Padme was dead. Well, he knew Padme was dead, but he thought her kid was dead too, and he didn't even know it was twins. So he finds out. So when in 5, when Palpatine is like, this kid is could be the son of Anakin Skywalker. At that point, you don't even know that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker, but knowing that he is Anakin Skywalker, you can kind of get more context of how he must feel finding out that he has a son still alive. And we know how much he loved Padme, because even after he became Darth Vader, even after he got into the suit, his first words was asking about what happened to Padme. So knowing that there's that one spark, not spark, but one link to her still left, is obviously what drags him back to the light, and you get the full context of everything about Anakin. I think I already said that a lot. And you could make the argument that starting from I was thinking about it in the context of if I had kids, where would I start them at? Because would a kid really want to start off from one? Well, even though he is a kid in that movie, would they want to start off from to watch a villain rise, or for a kid? Or would it be more entertaining for them to just watch the originals and see the hero, and watch Luke? I think it might be. I think for a little kid, if you're showing your kids for the first time, if they're really younger kids, or even showing showing your younger kids, it might make more sense for you to just show them, start off with Luke, and then do the prequels if they want, if they're like into like that, if they're into it enough. Show them the prequels and then the sequels. So I think the sequels probably work for kids. That's who it was made for, really. It was made. Disney made the movie for kids. They made it for kids and to make a bunch of money, and that's what they made. That's why they bought the franchise, and that's what they made the sequels for. But that's not just even about the sequels. But like I said, like you could make the argument that because the sequels don't pick up Anakin's legacy the way they should have, and he isn't even in them, that you just should just start from 4 and kind of disregard the whole Anakin's legacy thing, and just watch the originals as Luke's story, watch the prequels as Anakin's story, and watch the sequels as Rey's story, and just let it be that. If you're interested in someone new, but I think, and for me, like I think I've already set up my points. I think the next, like if I was putting someone on, I would say depending on like where they are in terms of watching, like if they really are the type to sit here and watch videos on YouTube, explaining, deep diving into like movies and like over analyzing movies, I would say starting from 1, and I'm just watching all the way through from 1 to 6 and 7 through 9 if you might as well finish out the series. But if they are like more just surface level and don't really care about the deeper stuff, like maybe a little kid, I'd say start from 4. But because I don't think, like I said, the I Am Your Father reveal, while it is iconic, I don't think it's big enough to pass up on all the context you miss when you watch the sequels after, such as Obi-Wan's death, and knowing like the significance of being between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and how Obi-Wan basically put him in that suit, and then he kills him later, 19 years later, and he obviously trained him and like raised him as a little brother. You don't get all that context from that. And then Anakin's story, his rise to become a Jedi, and then just becoming a fallen Jedi, joining the Sith and joining Palpatine. So for me, whenever the next time I marathon the series, I'm probably gonna always start from 1. Like I said, I think I might make another video about the prequels, not a review, but kind of just addressing. Even if I made a video addressing the critics of the prequels, I think I probably would just say the same stuff I said in my review. But I mean, if y'all want that video, just let me know in the comments, and I might make it. Because like I said, the prequels are my favorite. I think the most important point. I can't believe I didn't say this, but something I thought. Like what makes the prequels so good, I think the prequels elevate the originals. Like the prequels, like one difference to compare it to the Fantastic Beasts right now and Harry Potter. Right now, even though we're not even halfway through the series. So this can change, but as of right now, of the first 2 movies, these prequels do nothing for the original Harry Potter series. Like it doesn't upgrade it, doesn't add context to anything really. It is just almost like a separate movie, almost like the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Like it doesn't do anything for the original, or it doesn't add anything really. It's just like his own movie to just enjoy as his own movie. His own series. Whereas I feel like with the prequels, they add something to the originals. They add context. They add like emotional weight behind things like Anakin coming back to the light and Obi-Wan dying, and the possibility that Luke might turn like his dad did, and Luke went black in the last movie, and kind of having this more attitude, which is something like I noticed like right off the bat when even the week started. But you, I think that's like kind of the main thing it all boils down to. Like watching the prequels first adds a lot of context and makes it raises the stakes, I suppose, of the original, because when you watch the prequels second, there's not really as high stakes because you already know how the story ends. The Jedi fall, and Anakin becomes Darth Vader. Whereas when you start from one, you don't know. I mean, someone new starting from one, they don't know anything. They don't know what's gonna happen with this little boy. They don't know what's gonna happen with Yoda. They don't know what happens to the Jedi. They don't know what's going on with this random ass Senator Palpatine. They don't know any of that. And then when 4 comes in, you don't know if Luke's gonna turn like his dad did. Like, it just adds so much more to to watching the originals when you have the context of the prequels. And I feel like I've said that like 50,000 times in like 100 different ways. So I'm gonna end this video now. Let me know what you think in the comments. What order would you prefer to watch it in? And I think that's two different questions. Like, what order do you like to watch them in? Now that if you rewatch them, if you go on like marathons, and what order would you recommend to a new person entering the series who doesn't have any spoilers? Yeah, see you in the next video.